Die SAMA-genomineerde kunstenaar Jack Atlantic kuier volgende by ons en ons gesels onder andere oor 'n splinternuwe album, Shipwrecked. Good morning and welcome.
Morning, thanks for having me on the show.
I wanted to ask, you wrote your first song and performed when you were 8 years old.
Yeah.
Where did this love for music start for you?
It's weird because no one really in the family is really musical. I think my mom played a bit of guitar when she was younger, but it just started from a really young age and songwriting specifically. So at the age of 8, before I was even playing an instrument, I was writing lyrics and coming up with melodies in my mind, you know. And that kind of just progressed to when I was about 13 years old. I picked up the guitar and I never looked back ever since, you know.
Wow. Well, at 16, you had your first debut album with a group because you won a competition. Tell us about that.
So in high school, I had a band called Sub to Be Sane, which was basically a punk rock kind of Blink-182 themed band, you know, and vocals were terrible. If I listened actually back the other day to the album, it was shocking, very, very bad. But it was the first album, you know, and I started performing and playing in bands, and all the other guys were out of school already, and I was in high school kind of sneaking into all the bars and clubs and doing all these live shows, and it was just, I just knew right then and then that's what I want to do. My parents weren't really happy, like, you know, go and study a BCom, do something, you know, and I was like, music's what I'm doing, I'm not giving myself an option B, that's all I'm doing, and so far it's worked out for me, you know.
And you studied music?
I did. So briefly, I studied 2 years Damlin Bramley when I came up to Johannesburg from East London, and studied 2 years contemporary music. And when that was done, my dad was like, "Okay, you wanted to study music? Well, there you're done. So off you go," you know. And I had to make it work, and luckily it pays the bills, and I get to do what I love.
That's fascinating, because a lot of people tell their kids, you can study a drama or music or arts, just study something else so you can fall back on a career. You didn't go that way.
No, it's probably wise words to kind of follow that advice. But I think you can do it. It's just a lot of hard work and it's perseverance more than anything.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of talented musicians and artists out there that are way more talented than I was, way better singers, way better guitarists, but they kind of gave up when it got hard, you know. And I think for me it was just that perseverance, just never stopping, just carry on going, you know.
There was a time when you had 5 or 6 shows, you were performing at weddings, pubs, anywhere, but you weren't doing your original music. And I think I would like to know about the motivation behind keep it going. Do you go, okay, well, I'm still doing music, so I'm enjoying it, I'm loving it? Or do you think in that situation, well, there's a bigger picture, one day I will release my debut album, I will have a second album?
Yeah, I think exactly. It's like it was either go and play covers and do weddings and corporate events, and still have the time to focus on my music, or go and get a day job and sit behind an office, which would have killed me. I would have never been able to survive doing that, you know.
Yeah.
I always say music is who you are. It's not what you do. And I think I'm still blessed to be able to do music and be able to play all over the country and different venues and make people happy and make people dance and then still be able to push my original music. And luckily, as I said, perseverance, just working, saving money, putting money away to go and record that album. And luckily it paid off, you know. The album was SAMA-nominated, got a lot of hits on radio. And yeah, I still perform full time. That's what I do.
Incredible.
Tell us about your most recent album. There's 10 songs on it, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, correct.
Original music.
All original music. There's one cover on the album by Forever Young by Rod Stewart, which I redid. We just did a music video for that actually, which was an amazing experience. I used my 2 little daughters, I have a little 2-year-old and a 5-year-old. And we kind of recreated Rod Stewart's original music video, but with a South African twist. We shot it at Hartbeespoort Dam, in and around Hartbeespoort, and it came out amazingly. So that's one cover on the album, and the rest obviously all original music. And a lot of it's from personal experiences and things that have gone through my life, and you know, my kids, and you know, relationships and all that kind of thing.
When it comes to inspiration, people sometimes tend to put the already written music aside and think I have to be inspired just to create something new. Yes, that's part of it. But do you also find that it's not necessary to put stuff like Forever Young, which is already a classic? If you can change it and use your creativity in a way to give that, like you say, a South African spin, a nice little twist to it, surely that's as much a creative process as, well, almost similar process to writing your own
No,
song.
absolutely, because you're taking it at a completely different angle to it, you know. And I said, like, that song was, as a music video opens, it's dedicated to my 2 daughters, you know.
Yeah.
So one day they're going to look back at that song and see them when they were so small on the back, behind the back of the bucky, and so it definitely is open to that, you know.
Do you have a favorite song on the album Shipwrecked?
I do,
Yes.
and it's a song called "Ready to Love," and it's, for me, it's one of the best songs for me personally. Just from the sound, it's very Chris Rea, Dire Straits kind of influence, a lot of guitar work in there, a lot of
Real
kind of
music, like some people would say. Yes,
it's old school. It's old
Yeah.
school. So that's a track that really didn't do well commercially on radio per se this day and age, but it's a song that's it's your old soul kind of song, which I just love the vibe and sound of it, you know.
But that often happens. So, you know, as an artist, you have a favorite or a song that you think, okay, this is really special to me. And like you say, when it comes to commercial radio stations or people listening to it, that's not necessarily the song that people want to hear all the time.
Absolutely, and it's always a song that you think is going to be the hit, which doesn't do anything. And the
Deserves
song,
it and never
yeah, and the
gets it,
song
yeah.
you think, okay, this is not really good. This is just an album filler. Ends up being the song that does extremely well. It's a weird industry and a weird vibe. You can never actually calculate these things.
You're going to do one of the songs first.
Yes, I'm going to be doing an original song called Thunder, which is my latest single out at the moment.
I immediately think AC/DC, but it's not the same song. But yeah.
No, this is a song about basically growing up and getting older and reminiscing back on your younger days and kind of missing those days when you're young and carefree, but then also kind of accepting that, you know, it's grow old with grace, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for visiting us. And
Absolute pleasure.
it was such a pleasure getting to know you and also hearing about the latest album, Shipwrecked. And we can't wait for that song.
Yeah, thank you so much.